orchestration section, it says that I'm going to have violins play the melody. So I'm just going to start putting in some stuff here. And, I have the counter melody, I have the harmony, I have the melody. So I have a pretty good starting point. Like in this, I don't really know yet what I'm going to have there. So it's going to be one of the last parts I create. I usually create the intros and the outros the last, because it all depends on what's coming next and what's in between. So let's start by recording the violins for this. I'm just choosing a combination of cinematic strings and Hollywood strings. Let's see. So that's the melody. We're gonna add in some flute, but it sounds a little bit empty, so I'm just gonna add in the bass line, which I'm gonna do with cinematic strings. And maybe just fill in some ensemble chords just to have some filling stuff to kind of make up my mind about some things. There, let me just add some string chords. There we go, and yeah, let's just add the flute legato melody as well. Give some more airy, warm sound to the violins. So let's see. Next on form is the counter melody, which I have written is going to be played by the cellos, which had the melody in the earlier section alone, and then they're going to take over the counter melody, which will first be introduced in this section, the second A part. Okay, so let me just add one more element and we can listen to what we have so far. So in terms of rhythm, I want to have some staccato things to drive it a little bit more forward because as of now it's a little bit, it doesn't really have any movement, like any momentum. So I want to have some subtle. Something like that. Let me just add that to get that sense of movement. Wait. Okay, so let's listen. I need to tighten it up a little bit. We'll have a look at the editing part of everything pretty soon, so I'll explain everything more in detail later. Oh yeah, I also need to add the bass line for this. Whoops. There's a final thing I want to add, and then I'm just gonna take away all this piano stuff because we literally have everything from here up here. So in terms of rhythm, it says some booms and some taiko rolls. I'm just gonna start with some low booms. Yeah. There we go. So let's take away the piano and listen to what we have so far. And keep in mind, this is only the elements that I wrote into my orchestration form. So this is just a starting point, just the general idea I had in mind before I even started recording. So now, as we have been getting that down, we can start taking more choices and tweaking things, see what we like, see what we don't like. So let's just have a listen. So let's see. The thing now is that we have a little bit too much of the strings, I think. I mean, compared to a real orchestra. And this is because I have been adding this entire string sustain pad. Now, I will start voicing out things a little bit better to each instrument, because right now we just have the bass and the cellos, but my idea is to give the violins the melody, and then the violas will have more of the staccato part. However, sometimes I find it nice to, like in the background, just use some of the sustain things to glue everything together. So, there's a lot of times these libraries, it's hard to make them blend so they sound like one unit. You can still hear that it's different tracks. Of course, there's a little bit of mixing and orchestration in that as well, but a lot of times it's nice to just use a little bit of the sustain things to glue everything together. But let's hear without it. We don't really need them. They're just a filling element, and actually are taking up a little bit too much space, and they might be cluttering these staccato chords. And I might be filling in these longer chords with the piano from earlier. Have the piano keep going through, because that's also a mixing thing as well. But sometimes when I use the piano as a really full and nice element, if I take it out, you kind of have a little bit decrease in the intensity of the fullness, so I need to compensate for it. But sometimes it's nice to just have the piano a little bit in the background through the entire thing. I will see. For now, let's listen again. Actually, I might be giving it to both of the violins. I'll see how that sounds. Wait. A bit early. Okay, so now we have at least the main foundation for this. I'm gonna add a lot more things, like some brass, maybe some horns, making a crescendo with choirs into the next section. But for now, we have the foundations here.